Hi, everyone. Harry here to talk about a day that will live in history. A former president booked like a common criminal in Georgia, Fulton County jail. We have an iconic figure for the ages with Trump glowering and bizarrely kind of looking out and up from under his large eyebrows and incredibly well coiffed hair, like the angry defendant that he is. And we've all now seen it. It's what he couldn't have wanted to happen. It's an image of him that in many ways becomes the most memorable one. And look, it's just one of many examples of what's happening now when people have been saying in the abstract, they're still supporting him, and it doesn't matter, and these charges are all brought by partisans. But this brings it home so vividly, and this, as much as anything, the vision of Trump as defendant, as what criminals look like in a mugshot now issued by Fulton County. Now, why did they do it, by the way? This is the fourth indictment and only the first actual mugshot. They did it because they insisted for all 19 that they were going to treat them like any other defendant. That really is the kind of upshot of what we've been saying all along: no two tiers of justice. And like any other defendant, it's, of course, not quite true. There are ways in which the system tries to make allowances for a guy, for the former president and current leading candidate for the Republican nomination. And in the previous bookings, he was able to negotiate out terms, for example, no mugshot, but not here. So Fulton County, this had to be in many ways, for a guy who was born and lives in ridiculous, gilded luxury, the greatest moments of indignity of his life. You go into a decrepit jail. I can tell you what it's like just from having toured it as a prosecutor. Noisy and chaotic and smells bad, and it's just where a denizen of criminals, it must have been, besides sobering, terrifying for him, and he had no choice. In many ways, he who always tries so hard to show he's the boss, he's in charge, was absolutely brought to heel by the justice system in Fulton County and had to make his way like other criminals booked that today, by the way, including most of the 19 by now, including today, Mark Meadows, just had to show up and face the music, the consequences of his deeds. Of course, he hasn't been found guilty yet. Of course, he's presumed innocent until found guilty, but he is a bona fide defendant, and he is in peril, including being subject to conditions of release that, are the state provides, but he's got to keep his end of the deal too. So what could have driven it home more strongly than his minutes or more in Fulton County, that if he continues to intimidate and witnesses potentially and affect the jury pool, this is where he might need to go while awaiting trial. He is, yes, the leading candidate for the Republican nomination, but also a common defendant like many others and subject to those same restrictions. Moreover, it is getting really ominous for him. Just today, another elector, another of the 19 co-defendants, came out and basically made a legal argument to a court saying, I should be able to bring my case in federal court. Why? Because I did all this at the instruction of Trump and the Trump campaign. So there are cracks, huge chasms showing among and between the 19 defendants, and all of them are serious and ominous for Trump, both because they point the finger that way and because any cooperator knows that a way to get a favorable deal is to provide testimony against the higher ups in this criminal enterprise. And that here would be Mark Meadows, Rudy Giuliani, John Eastman, but Donald Trump, the mob boss in this basic analogy or metaphor to a RICO case, which is something you bring for mob bosses. So, we had a dual reality today, and it's going to continue. He will go back to New Jersey and have a kind of a campaign speech, affect false bravado, and wear this latest booking as a measure of pride, but at the same time within the system itself, which is where he's going to have to spend much of the time in the next different legal systems, the next year, and then potentially a long time thereafter if he's convicted and sentenced to prison for his acts. So this had to have driven home to Donald Trump like nothing else the potential consequences of his constitutional crimes, against the republic, and this notion that this lie that he's tried to perpetrate and still is sticking with, that the election somehow was rigged. That leads in a direct line to today's glowering picture and all it portends about the clutches of the legal system that now have him in its grips. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.